2024. Gdansk Regionals top 4. And Portland, Oregon Regionals top 4. And LAIC top 32. What an accomplishment sheet.
Love seeing people enjoying being on stream. I commentated his Stuttgart victory in 2024. That was a fun game. Lost box, if I remember correctly. Moritz Kretschmer here. We've got an Utrecht Special Championship top 256 from last season. So we have a newer player and a more accomplished player. So are we going to see Christian proving he is one of the top players in the world, or are we going to see an underdog story coming true?
I mean, there is a reason why Moritz is sitting here at 6-0-1. Fantastic tournaments from both of these players so far, but we get to see some prize cards. We get to see more Dragapult, double 3P prize though against Christian's ever-fabled Gholdengo.
That's a 2-1-1 line of Dragapult being prized. Not ideal, and it does look like we might be having some Gholdengo action on the left from Christian, judging by those prize cards. So there's a fist bump, and we are rolling with our 8th and final round of Swiss in Phase 1 at the Seville Regional Championships. We've got a Badu in the active for Moritz here, and we've got a Soul Rock for Christian, and it does seem like Christian will be leading us off with a fight gong. And while he does this, can you tell us a bit about this Gholdengo deck?
Yeah, this Gholdengo deck has massive potential of reaching damage. Using Make It Rain with Gholdengo, 50 for each basic energy you discard from your hand. You may be asking me, Ross, how are you just getting all these energies back? We have superior energy retrieval to get back all these energies, so you can constantly be throwing big attacks into your opponent's active position. Whereas Moritz, on the other hand, wants to be stopping that. Now we do see the Fighting Gong, getting that Luna Tone, getting that Luna Rock setup, being able to use that Lunar Cycle to be able to draw more cards, getting into these energy cards, but also importantly, more gimmicks.
And that is what you're looking for. Lots of gimmicks to turn into lots of Gholdengo for lots of coin bonuses and making it rain for gigantic damage. So we do have the Luna Rock combination. This is one of the things which really turn this into a top tier deck. Partly it's the draw power with Lunatone, but also here it's having that early game attacker. You're not forced to go into Gholdengo super early and start putting your 2 prizes in harm's way. You can use Soul Rock to sit there doing 70 damage, take some cheeky early game prizes, and transition into Gholdengo when you absolutely have to. And just that simple thing completely transformed this deck and turned it from a good, kind of like second tier deck into arguably the best deck in the game. So we have energy on Soul Rock, we have a single gimme ghoul down. I'd like to see some more, but unfortunately we're passing to Moritz here, who is using Christian's own Artisan against him here and going and having a look for a Pokemon.
Yeah, Artisan, even though how good it is for Christian, it's also going to be able to be used for Moritz here. Getting to see the bad news, looking up these Dragapult pieces. Wait, I got 2 3Ps prized and a Drag Cloak as well. Kind of handicapping this setup a bit here. Getting the 3P and attachment though, shuffling up the deck after Artisan, getting ready, potentially to play support of a turn. Didn't see if there was one in the hand from Moritz, but definitely needs something to be able to draw more cards.
That is going to be the goal. You need more than just a single 3P now. There is a 2-1-1 line of Dragapult prize. The good news is he plays a 4-4-3. 4 3P, 4 Dracloak, 3 Dragapult. So there are still plenty left. And here we see an Ino hitting the board. That lovely special illustration rare from way back in Paldea Revolve. The second Scarlet and Violet set hits the board. And that is going to give both players a new hand of 6 cards. And double buddy poppin'. That is what Moritz was looking for.
He was looking for it, but he was also looking to see, wait, where's the 3Ps at, right? We get the buddy puffin for a 3P and a Duskull. Fantastic. But typically this second buddy puffin would have been getting you more 3Ps, but he can't do that quite yet.
Well, here's the thing. The mind games are coming in. Moritz needs to hide this. He cannot give away that 2 3P are prize, because if you do that, Christian is going to really try and hunt down those remaining 3P. So if you play the second buddy puffin, you kind of have to find 2 other things to search for here. You cannot play a buddy poffin and just search for 1 Duskull and leave a bench space open. That will be a giant red flag to Christian. Hey, Christian, I've only got these 2 3P. That's not going to work.
No, it would not. And definitely still, even though there's 2 3Ps on the board, and fantastic on Moritz end, playing only the 1 buddy puffin, even though you had the second, Christian's still going to look at it with the 4 bosses orders in their deck being like, well, you know what? If there's 2 3Ps on a board and I knock out one of them, there's only going to be 1 left. And that means that Moritz has, in this case, to find Night Stretcher. Or in Christian's mind, we need to find another buddy puffin, even though we know that's for naught.
Well, we've just had an incredibly quick turn from Christian. It was not really very much more than attaching an energy. Now, we did get more Gimmickle, which was nice on the board, but it was mostly just attach an energy, KO Badoo, and then it's straight back to Moritz here, who's got a Dreepy in the active with an energy. Do we have rare candy? No, there's no rare candy in this build, so it is going to be a manual evolution up, and you're going to need to get this out the active. We see a second Duskull coming down, which is nice. But you're going to need something, and it's probably going to be a Badoo turn. Now, oh, we play two Buddy Buddy Poffin and then use Lily's Determination. If I'm Christian, I'm thinking, mate, there is no way you've got a bench space open and you just burn two Buddy Buddy Poffin. You don't want to burn them. They won't taste as good. And you didn't get a Dreepy. But
there may also be a thought in Christian's head being like, okay, maybe Moritz is just trying to hit a Latias to be able to keep this energy in play. So there's another layer to that chess kind of thought here.
I see where you're going.
Also still drawing 8 with this Lily's Determination. As I said, no rare candies in that deck of Moritz, meaning that they would need, and I'm saying need, to find a Dragcloak to even have any chance of there being a Dragapult attacking next turn.
Well, the good news is we have 2 Ultra Ball in hand, so that is going to go and get Pokemon. You can go and get that Latias if you want to maybe try and hide the lack of Dreepy. You can go and get that Dragapult, that Dracloak, which is going to give you access to that Recon Directive, but yeah. Oh, and actually, those are the 2 Pokemon, so I think we're going to see both Ultra Ball played, and I don't mind this. They're the 2 cards I want. Question is, do we have cards we're willing to discard?
It's going to be a tough discard for Moritz here. Going for a Dracloak first. You can't just evolve the bench Dreepy, hoping that off the Dracloak there, you're either hitting Latias or, yeah, you're hitting a card you want to be discarding. Sitting on 2 Counter Catcher, they're pretty important in this matchup from Moritz side, trying to build up these multi-KOs where you wouldn't want to use Counter Catcher. Doing the Dracloak in the active, and looking at 2 cards, Night Searcher and Fire Energy is not access directly to secondary Dracloak, although, yes, you can be using that second Ultra Ball in this turn to get that second Dracloak going.
I do like getting that energy there so that you can attach it. You're now ready to attack next turn, unless you have to burn it to discard to retreat, and that is exactly what we are doing. But we have Badoo in the active. We can counter catcher because Christian has already taken a prize. We bring a Gimmighoul into the active, and then we just itchy pull him. That bench space remains empty.
And I do love this play from Moritz's side, wanting to promote a Gimmighoul to give it 10 damage. That's 70 HP. Dragapult's Phantom Dive gives 60 to the bench. So next turn, if Moritz gets Dragapult energy and then Counter Catcher again, can be able to take out 2 Gimmighouls off the board.
Yeah, that's really heads-up play. We see a Hilda coming down. That is going to go and grab an Evolution Pokemon and an Energy. That is going to be Gholdengo and a Fighting Energy. Sometimes we get better value out of this, but look, you're still going to get your Gholdengo. You can go and get your coin bonus. You've got the energy that you want to use. It's going all right for the time being. But here, it is really just going to be, can we get the Gimmighoul out the active and take another prize with Soul Rock? Some decks, you're willing to just sit behind a Badoo lock and set up. It's not really one of those decks. You need those prizes.
Not really, especially when you're staring down double Duskull that can turn into potentially double Dusknoir. If we're looking at that, it's going to be potentially 260 damage being able to flood the board. So Christian here needs to get out of the active position. I do see an Air Balloon there, which is very good news for Christian. But speaking of Christian's deck as well, typically we've been seeing these Gholdengo decks playing Secret Box or Prime Catcher. No. Again, we're seeing that Legacy Energy variant, which has been popping up after UIC.
Which explains Hilda here, because you want to be able to search out that Legacy Energy. Hilda does not give you that much benefit all of the time, but just having a way to search Legacy Energy, absolutely huge. So we get the KO on Badoo with that Soul Rock. Pheasant Dipty hits the board for Moritz here. That is going to allow him to draw 3 extra cards because he had a Pokemon KO'd during his opponent's last turn. And that second counter catcher's gone to the front of his hand. We might be doing some gusting. But first, let's flip the script.
Exactly. In this matchup, if you played it at home before, typically you're seeing Dragapult going for this route of, all right, I can attack this turn, and then next turn there's a possibility of going Dusknoir plus Iono down to 1. Let's say if Christian takes the knockout under Dragapult this turn, although Moritz still needs attachment Dragapult this turn. Would also then need next turn the Neo Upper Energy to even be able to go up with the full game plan. So right now, this is a turn where Moritz needs to hit their pieces to be able to stay competitive in this game. Even though it's looking like Christian does not have the full setup, it does not take a lot for Gholdengo to reach these knockouts.
And it can happen extremely quickly when you start building in coin bonus and lunar cycle and all these other abilities. We do have an energy in hand. It is just a luminous energy here coming down. We do see the evolution on the bench up to the Dusclops. We're going to counter catcher onto that Gholdengo, and Dusclops with the single damage already on. Now, you said about the 6 damage counters from Phantom Dive KOing. The damage also works here. Dusclops does 5 damage counters. That will put Gholdengo on exactly 200 remaining, which will mean a KO with Phantom Dive. But here we see again Horlucha dropping 1 damage counter on each Gimmighoul. I've just finished saying how useful that 1 damage counter was. Now there's another 2.
And it's beautifully set up here by Moritz, taking us a bit more convoluted line. Now being able to use Dusclops on the active, put 50 more damage in play, but not before you play Lily and draw a whole new 8 cards. Moritz is getting everything they're asking for here, and basically putting up the question, Christian, are you going to be able, with potentially only 2 Gholdengo and a lunar cycle, potentially Serendipity, etc., to draw into a knockout on this Dragapult, but maybe also a knockout on the next coming Dragapult after a potential Iono?
This is going to be a free prize turn for Moritz. You're going to get 2 prizes off of the active Gholdengo, and you're going to get a prize off the bench Gimmighoul. We do have a second Dusclops coming down, but I wouldn't expect to see it use this turn. That going on to the bench? I wouldn't expect the damage. I expect the damage on the active, surely.
Yeah, you're right about that.
That's where the maths works out. Because the bench one, there we go. It is on the active. So now Phantom Dive does 200 to the active to KO, 6 damage counters on one of the bench Gimmighoul to KO, presumably the one with the energy. And then that is going to be a free prize turn. So you did give Christian a prize, but then you took 3 yourself and you're actually evened up nicely.
And it's playing into this perfect Iona to 1 scenario. If Christian can get into the pieces that he needs to be taking this knockout under Dragapult, needs an attachment for turn, plus 7 energies to take this knockout. In Christian's deck, there is measly 11 energies, so you need to be hitting 8 out of 11. There are 4 in the discard. There's 1 attached to the Soul Rock, so he needs to be drawing a lot of cards to make that more likely.
And the one on the Soul Rock is kind of stuck there, so it's essentially 8 out of 10 at this point. So here we are going to be searching out with a nest ball. We got that Serendipity. That's going to give you flip the script ability. You can draw 3 extra cards here. So that's going to help him get towards it. He's already got a superior energy retrieval in hand. That's going to be helpful. He does have access to Lunar Cycle, and presumably at some point there's going to be a Gholdengo, but there's already 1 in the active. So that's 5 extra cards plus flip the script. That's 8 extra cards between Serendipity, Lunatone, and Gholdengo. That is 8 cards being drawn.
And you can even push it up to 10 if you get an air balloon to that Gholdengo and retreat into new Gholdengo. What is actually beautiful about Moritz's setup, I need to stress this, is that even if Christian goes, okay, boss Horlucha knockout, it means that Moritz actually can get to use this bench Dusclops, put Christian still down to 1 prize, and wreak even more havoc on Christian's board.
I love it. Basically, whatever happens here, either Christian has an absolute nightmare of a turn with no KOs, or Moritz will Iono him to a single card next turn. There's no real way around it. Now we see the coin bonus draw from the active. It was a boss's orders and a basic fighting energy. Now we're going to see Hilda being played. This will be a great time for legacy energy, because this removes 1 prize, which makes Moritz's prize map a lot more awkward than it was before.
And that was why when you're playing against Gholdengo, you can typically go with these 2-2-2 prize maps. Or anyhow, with the legacy energy, you can mess that prize trade up for your opponent, which is exactly why they're playing with these Hildas, to be able to search it out. And on top of that, if you already spent your legacy energy, yeah, Hilda can get another energy. So we're just looking at how many energies we have. 3, 4. That means the superior energy retrieval is going to be able to grab that knockout with those 3 already in hand.
And that legacy energy means that is a single prize Gholdengo. And look, a couple of turns ago, I was pretty candid. I said, look, I don't think Hilda's gotten great value for Christian on that turn. This turn, oh, Hilda got well good value with that legacy energy. Now we see the superior energy retrieval gets 4 cards in addition to the 3 in hand. That is 7. 7 times 50 is 350. That is enough to get the KO on Dragapult and put Moritz on the back foot. It is going to be Iono and try and make that comeback, but the damage Gholdengo is a problem. Also, with 1 prize card remaining, it means that Dusclops will be doing nout for the rest of the game.
Exactly, and it pushes Moritz kind of into a corner, needing to be hitting that A-spec, Neo upper energy, and Dragapult. But if he goes Iono to 1, Serendipity is not going to be activated for Christian. Needs a fighting energy to draw for Lunar Cycle, which means that Christian's only going to only going to be able to draw free cards from the Gholdengos. One thing that's important about this legacy energy here, Ross, is that when it's knocked out by damage, it works. But if it's knocked out on a bench by Phantom Dive, you get to bypass that.
Yeah, we've talked about legacy energy quite a lot already this stream, but it is only damage. So if you do 200 here to the active and then put some damage somewhere else, next turn you can just KO it on the bench with a residual damage from Phantom Dive, and that will work. Here comes Flip the Script. It's a poker pad. Boss's Orders, second poker pad. So that's going to give you a Dracloak, and it does give you Gusting if you want it.
Yeah, but you need to be hitting either Dragapult EX or Neo Up Energy is a Night Stretcher. That gives you the Dragapult EX, right? But it means off that second Dracloak that's possibly coming down, it's definitely in the hand, you need to be hitting that Neo Up Energy. Otherwise, you would need to go Jet Headbutt, and that doesn't really set it up for you.
Now, Jet Headbutt is unfortunately not going to do it. You need to basically take a KO this turn. We need to set up for a double KO next turn, however that actually comes up around. Next turn, you need to have taken 2 KOs. So, yeah, it's going to have to be Phantom Dive, surely.
I'm saying that, Ross. I'm being a bit silly. That Dreeby was Ben's turn, which means we need to go Jet Headbutt, and this leaves everything in Christian's corner. Has Christian drawn out of the... I see Lily, I see Fighting Gong. Of these 2 cards from the Iona and the top deck.
But you've still got... Now, you don't have Flip the Script, but you still have Lunar Cycle if you can get an energy, but Fight Gong should get you the energy. You've still got Coin Bonus for free. So if you can get a Fighting Energy... Do we have one in deck? I think I saw
a Fighting Energy left in the deck potentially there, but we can just go Lily, saving the Fighting Gong. And what's really good about this is that when you're saving the Fighting Gong, you're saving an out to hit that Fighting Energy.
Okay, I like it. Not too bad. Let's see if we can go and grab it in a moment. For now, I mean, you don't need very much. Well, you didn't need very much if you could gust. Now you do. Now you need 7 energy in hand. So we're going for superior energy retrieval.
And 2 of those, in fact. If you're getting double in it, superior energy retrieval, the game is over. So this is what Christian is targeting here. Are we going to be able to see 2 of those superior energy retrieval? We see none of them currently, but we do see Earthen Vessel being potentially able to fin out more cards from the deck. Using Lunar Cycle, drawing more cards of Gholdengo. There's no fighting.
I'm not sure there's any energy left in the deck. I think it's all in the discard except for the couple on the board. I don't think you've got any energy left. So this is a superior energy retrieval game plan. You don't have Flip the Script. If you don't have a fighting energy, you don't have Lunar Cycle available. Yeah, I don't think he's got it. He's got 1 energy in hand, but it's a metal. So we're going to coin bonus for 2. And we do have
a Night Stretcher for the fighting energy potentially. Gholdengo for 1. Picnic basket only. That doesn't quite do it. It can heal a bit, which is nice. Sets it out of Phantom Dive range, which is very good for Christian's sake here, but not a potential game ender unless this Lunar Cycle potentially off that Night Stretcher can net him 2 superiors.
It's a lot to ask for, but it is possible. Go and get that fighting energy, and then just use that to Lunar Cycle, draw 3 more cards. It doesn't feel like it's going to happen this turn, but Moritz is not winning the game next... no, he could win again next turn.
No, Moritz is not going to be able to win the game next turn because that Dusclops not being able to be activated unless he wants to give the game away for free, which he doesn't want to, of course.
That would be a little bit silly. He can win the game in 2 turns, but Christian does not want to give him those 2 turns. Having said that, I'm not seeing any superior energy retrieval whatsoever. Picnic basket to heal 30. This is kind of relevant. It is relevant because now it means it's out of range of a Phantom Dive. That's hugely relevant, because now he's got 210 HP remaining, and it does feel like Christian is putting himself in a very strong position in this game.
Indeed, it just means that Christian gets to have 1 more turn with double Gholdengo in play, and making this prize map even harder on Moritz. I could potentially argue that using the Picnic Basket may be a bit faulty here because, let's say the Gholdengo was knocked out for 1 prize on Moritz's side. It means that Christian could be able to net more cards. If Moritz goes, okay, Iona again, Phantom Dive, still setting up for that free prize turn, it would mean that Christian on the next turn still would not be able to use Fescendipity.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. You can still do 200 to the active, 60 to the bench Gholdengo, and then next turn Gust and KO both the Gholdengo, and there's your free prizes. But you're giving Christian 1 more turn to try and piece something together. There is the energy. So Phantom Dive is on the board. You don't need... Oh, and Boss's Orders is in hand. And there's no Ino in Christian's list. So Moritz can basically guarantee game, but here is Pheasant Dipty into the active straight away. No mussing, no fussing, as I say to my children. But boss and an energy means that Christian will still be able to finish it out next turn, taking a small KO. So after all of that, it came close, but Christian still takes game one. Moritz put up a fight, but Christian takes game one.
And this is how the matchup typically functions, right? Gholdengo goes ahead early, and Dragapult tries to push back with Dusclops, with continued pressure from Budyu, and Dragapult trying to set up prizes. When Moritz was missing that Neo Upper energy, it always felt like the Neo Upper was laughing in his face when he went for Dragapult to turn after, saw Latias and Neo Upper energy. But we get to see the replay here. Early start with Budyu, but then the pressure came on from these Soul Rock and Lunatone combos. More gimme goals into play, potentially getting into more Gholdengos, but we get to see Moritz fight back bravely.
And he did fight back beautifully. We had multiple Dragapult coming down, but it was that Hilda for the, for the Gholdengo and the Legacy Energy. That was a very big deal. We then saw that big KO on Dragapult with 7 energy. We saw the boss at the end on the Pheasant Dip team, Moritz trying to set up a really fun turn, but unfortunately Christian just went, yeah, I've got an energy and a boss, so I can get a pretty easy KO. And Moritz like, oh yeah, cool, let's go to game 2.
Yeah, getting that knockout on the Halucha at the end. The Halucha was paying dividends early game, getting to take out double gimme goal here. But yeah, we're going into game 2 here, where Moritz likely wants to get to go second. In this matchup, both decks wants to go second, typically, where Dragapult can get to play Lily's Determination, play Pokepads, play Buddy Puffin, hopefully not pricing 2 Dreepies at that.
That would be good.
And getting more of an engine setup. That was what Moritz was lacking in game 1.
Absolutely. He did not have the fast start that we were really looking for. Well, it looks like we are ready here. Let's take a look at these prizes coming down, see what we've got. Are we going to have good, happy prizes or bad, mean prizes? I don't like Pheasant Dipty being prized, and that one of Megalopony as well. A couple of options taken off the board.
A couple of options taken away, but overall, pretty fair prices here from both players. Not terrible at all for neither side. Moritz gets to go first, and we're on with game 2.
We are indeed, and Moritz here starts off with a Buddy Puffin, and he's going to go and search out a couple of those basic Pokemon, and he's counting up. Well, I got wonderful news for you. You do have one Dracloak prized. Deal with it. There's no Dragapult, there's no Dreepy. This is going to be a much more fun game in that regard than game 1 was. Maybe that can give a slightly faster game plan. But I think you made a really good point a minute ago, Jesper. It was missing that Neo Upper energy. That was such a big deal, not having access to that for several turns. That was not fun.
And when you're starting as Moritz, wanting to go second, you're hitting Buddy Puffin. Nice and jolly, right? But then you look at the rest of hand, needs a lot of help. I don't see any Dracloak. I don't see any draw supporters at that. So it's going to be difficult. We're going to be relying on top deck, but getting Budyu, so we have that for next turn. An energy attachment in hand, all good. Dust Call down so we can get that setup going. But then thereafter, kind of lacking.
It's not perfect. I would like to see the energy come down, because obviously with Dragapult, there's energy attachments, absolutely crucial. Had to waste one to retreat last game, and we do again this game. Not an ideal start, because we saw discarding that energy early is why you were so desperate for that Neo Upper later in the game. Over to Christian, we start with a Soul Rock. What have we got?
We do have Artisan, we do have Gimme Goal, we do have Legacy Energy and Fighting Gong. So we do have the attack, and we want to be spending that Legacy Energy on Soul Rock. But as long as the Legacy gets its full effect, who cares?
Yeah. Honestly, like, as long as it stops your opponent taking a prize, it gives them one more prize to take throughout the game. Doesn't really matter how it does that. That is going to get you that full value, and that's what you're looking for. So Fight Gong is going to go and grab a Lunatone with Soul Rock in the active. That gives access to Lunar Cycle. And Hilda is going to grab an Energy and a Gholdengo. Really, this is... Again, it's just like Hop with extra steps. You're drawing 3 cards, but you're doing it by having a search out and then discard a Fighting Energy after already getting your Lunatone out, but you at least have your Gholdengo ready for next turn as well.
Yeah, it's just it's Hilda to Hop, where you get a stage 1 Pokemon on top. That's not too bad as well here. Getting that Fighting Energy. Yes, Lunar Cycle is going to be able to be activated. But I do want to point out a Mullet side. I like the retreating of Dreepy into Duskull instead of Budyu, because taking out the Buddy would be easy. Now it's just an attachment away. But if the Duskull gets knocked out, it leaves more room for double Dracloak potentially next turn if Moritz can get some help from the top of the deck.
Absolutely, it does give him a better board potentially at the end of it. We draw 3 cards. It's a boss, a rescue stretcher, and an earthen vessel. We get a Gimmighoul down on the board. We play the Artisan and go and search for another Pokemon. It is shockingly going to be another basic Gimmighoul coming down onto the bench. A lot of cards in hand. We've got Legacy Energy. Do we want to use it? It's the only one available right now, unless you go Earthen Vessel, which might be better than using your one of Legacy Energy this early in the game.
I would argue yes, because whenever you have to switch from Soul Rock into Gholdengo,
oh, it's not apparently.
That's not what we're doing. We're going to go Legacy all the way on Soul Rock here, and does Moritz get it?
Got a Dusclops. That would have been really fun if your Dusclops didn't just get KO'd. You can go and get Artisan here, though. Go and grab a basic. It's going to be another Dreepy. Does he have... I've not had a good look at his hand for a minute. It's nothing in hand.
There is absolutely nothing. We're looking at a couple energies, Boss's Orders, and Dusclops. So no Lily, no Iono, no Dracloak to even draw any additional cards. Here it's likely just going to be, okay, attached Dreepy, Itchy Pollen, and Christian's going to look at it and be like, wow.
See, I pride myself on being a pretty positive, cheery, enthusiastic guy, but that's not a very good hand. We see a Boss's Orders onto a Gimmighoul, just basically saying, look, I might as well use it as my supporter for the turn, make it a bit more awkward. And we have said that 1 damage counter on Gimmighoul can be important, but in a deck where you don't play Rare Candy, you're now 2 turns away from a Dragapult. Oh, but here we go with a double Gholdengo here. We see a coin bonus in the active for 2. We got another coin bonus on the bench, and that Badoo, I'm afraid, is not long for this board.
There's both metal, there's fighting, there's Hilda in hand, getting that 3rd Gimmighoul, and also my eye does also spy another way to get Gholdengo out for next turn as well. Even we haven't even used the bench Gholdengo's ability, being able to draw even more cards, having a metal energy to attach, fighting energy to discard. We need to remember how much HP Badoo has. It has 30.
Yes, not very much. It means a single energy discarded with Make It Rain will get the KO. And this is what you're terrified of. Like, you have this terrible start, and your opponent's like, so I can get multiple Gimmighoul, and then into multiple Gholdengo. I got Solrock with a Legacy Energy, and then I got my Lunatone, so I can Lunar Cycle, and then I got a spare Gimmighoul on the bench. I have got literally, and I mean this, literally everything I could want at this point, and you are still struggling without even a single Dracloak on the field.
Even Lunar Cycle, drawing an extra energy, although if Christian didn't hit any energy, could have just gone Hilda, does it anyway, can go ahead and get Gholdengo, energy. Everything's just flowing.
He has got everything he needs. He's 1 game up, and game 2 is absolutely going in his favor. Both these players are 6-0-1. They're both locked for phase 2. Right now, they're fighting for positioning. The winner of this game will go to this match. Will go to 7-0-1. That gives them extra match points to make it more likely they can transition from phase 2 into top 8. They're both already going to phase 2. Right now, this is an extra win in phase 2 they're fighting for here to make top 8 more likely. There is a KO with Make It Rain on the Badoo. Dreepy goes into the active. We've got 3 Dreepy on the board, nothing else, and we top deck a Jamming Tower. That's not very useful.
This is going from worse to worse. And Moritz here, struggling for options. But you again have to hope that Christian misses the energy next turn. Bad news, Christian does have an energy in hand and can just continue to get these knockouts. Moritz just literally have to donate all of these buddies for knockouts until he can hit anything. But quite frankly, Ross, even hitting a Dracloak next turn may be too late.
And that's the problem. When you're playing these Dragapult lists, nowadays an awful lot of these lists don't play any Rare Candy, which means they don't have that explosive option to go, boom, Rare Candy, Dragapult, Neo Upper Energy, now I'm using Phantom Dive. Moritz is playing a list that isn't able to do that. That is a gigantic problem. Christian here can coin bonus for 4 cards. And they've also got like 1 billion cards in hand. And they're not even doing anything. They just Make It Rain, KO the Badoo. Could have drawn more cards. Could have used Lunar Cycle. Not even worrying about it. We finally see Poképad. That is going to give a Dracloak. But now Christian's in this great position where if you've got 1 Dracloak, I think I know what Christian's going to be trying to do next turn.
Oh, you don't mean Boss's Orders, do you?
I think the boss is going to cool down and be like, mate, that Dragapult on the bench, here's my orders, get it gone.
We do need to see the double night stretcher. Moritz
my
just
goodness.
stretches on. What is this?
my
And Christian
word.
over the table cannot believe it.
You know you're drawing badly when you give up on the game and just show your opponent what you've done. I'm not saying he's given up completely, but I'm saying at this point it's feeling hopeless to the point where you just show your opponent these were my options. We're now going to see another KO from Christian. He is going to go down to just two prize cards remaining. First, we're going to draw a bunch of cards. Coin bonus, coin bonus, coin bonus. We do have 2 superior energy retrieval in hand, so the energy is not going to be a problem. But if you're Christian, and it is a boss, like we suggested, onto the single Dracloak, that is going to be a very easy KO. And if you're Moritz here, you're just seeing this go from bad to worse. The good news is you're locked for day 2. That's wonderful news. The bad news is you are down a game, and this second game is going downhill fast. We discard 2 cards from hand. We get 4 cards back with superior energy retrieval. We can discard 2 of these with Make It Rain to KO that Dracloak. And Christian goes down to 2 prize cards remaining. And we top deck another poker pad.
Another Pokepad is undoubtedly going ahead and getting another Dracloak. And then we're asking a question again, Ross. What can this Dracloak even get that's going to keep ourselves within the game?
You know what I really want? I want Rare Candy, Dragapult, Neo Upper Energy. We can't have it. There's no Rare Candy in the deck, but that is the kind of thing that would stabilize. Now we have a look. It is a Luminous Energy and a Dragapult. You go and grab the Luminous Energy. And look, there is a potential here. Here's the route back for Moritz. You attach to the Dracloak. Next turn, you evolve into Dragapult and INO your opponent to 1 card. And then you just cross your fingers and hope. But here is a boss onto the only Dracloak, and that means that there will be no Dragapult coming out next turn, which means Christian will be able to take this prize, and then 1 more prize next turn to finish out the game with no Dragapult coming down. This was a last chance saloon for Moritz. It was get a Dragapult with both the energy, INO to 1, and just hope you can get a comeback. Finally! We get the INO to 1. The problem is, Christian is going to need absolute maximum 2 energy.
Or superior energy retrieval.
Or superior energy retrieval to get 2 energy. Or a potentially an earthen vessel.
Or actually just energy. 1 energy, because you have that Soul Rock on the bench. So let's say if Moritz does get the Pokepad to be able to potentially search out another Dracloak, even Night Stretcher. But yeah, as you said, 2 energies is what is separating Christian Fontenot between himself and a 7-0-1 record here in Seville. And as you correctly mentioned, right? These players, yes, they are unlocked for phase number 2, but they still want to be able to grab more of these match points to potentially shoot themselves into the top 8.
Yeah, if you're a player like Christian, it's not about, hey, look, I made phase 2. No. You want to be going up into top 8, fighting for another regional championship victory. Now, here we do get the Blood Moon Ursaluna down on the board. This will not be able to get, no, does it 240 or 250?
Does hit for 240.
I was right. So it's going to be 10 damage away from getting a KO on that Gholdengo. So not even getting a KO here. Could put a high HP Pokemon into the active. But even then, you still need to find an energy to pivot that Dragapult out of the active.
And Christian Fontenot sitting here with a fighting energy, meaning that 1 fighting energy can be switched off, put in a discard pile, traded for free cards with that Lunar Cycle.
He's drawing 8 cards next turn.
Yeah.
1 per turn, 3 from Lunar Cycle, 2 from the active coin bonus, 2 from the bench coin bonus. So Christian got INO to 1 card, and he's going to be drawing 8 cards. He probably is going to hit what he needs. Now, we do finally see that Blood Moon Ursaluna hit the active, so it's now a little bit more difficult. We're going to need to see some gusting or 5 energy to finish out this game. That Gholdengo not KO'd yet. Right, what have we got? That second card wasn't very useful. 2 coin bonus from the active. Now,
we just need a superior energy retrieval here,
Ross.
Was that
a boss?
No.
Okay. So here we see there is an energy. And we are just going to boss, and it is going to be Dragapult in the active, retreat into Soul Rock, KO on the Dreepy with Soul Rock. It was a boss, I was right, but more importantly, Christian Fontenot is going to go to a 7-0-1 record, putting himself in fantastic positioning to be making a play for top 8 in phase 2 of the Seville Regional Championship. And I don't know, maybe you gave him luck when you interviewed him a minute ago.
Perhaps, and we're getting to take a look at the entire replay here. It was two way different stories. Moritz kind of getting a setup in game one, trying to fight back after the storm of Soul Rock that was beginning our game, but kind of started lacking. Christian getting a fantastic setup. 3 gaming goals, a Gholdengo in play, Soul Rock knockout.
Yep, and that is what you need to do. Those Soul Rock knockouts, super good in the early game. And then Christian there with that legacy energy that made such a difference. Gigantic KO on the Dragapult while threatening only 1 prize given up in return. We see the boss's orders onto that Pheasant Dipty, but Christian was ready for it. All he needed to do was just boss's orders and then use an energy to retreat and get the KO.
And game 2 was downright awful for Moritz. Has the body pop in the start off, great, but no additional help. No drag cloaks in the early game, no draw supporters, and this was just Christian's games from the start.
And he did make the most of it. He played very carefully. He set up his board very nicely. He didn't overcommit resources. He just took the KOs when they came out, using the Gholdengo to take KO after KO after KO and just putting himself in a great position. He had the Soul Rock with the legacy energy on from early in the game, didn't need it. And we see the moment there where the first Dracloak gives a choice of 2 Night Stretcher, neither of which were any good, and Moritz just sharing that with Christian as Christian just takes prize after prize after prize. We see again drawing a whole bunch of cards here to get the KO, and here's what Christian did. He went after the Dracloak every time it hit the board, went after the Dracloak. End of the game here. I can't KO that active Blood Moon Ursaluna, but I can boss up the Dreepy and retreat into that Soul Rock, which had that energy from turn 1.